Hi and welcome everybody. Have you ever built a Power BI report and thought that this report actually answers all the business questions there might be and that it's super useful for everybody in the company? But then you realize that actually not many people are looking at the report. Well, one of the reasons might be that the users simply don't know about all the cool functionality that you have integrated into the report. They don't know about how to navigate and filter and use drill throughs and buttons and drill downs and cross filtering, and then they simply give up. So one way to solve this issue is, of course, to write a documentation in a Word document and save a PDF file somewhere on a SharePoint drive or similar. But the problem is that users will simply not really go to this place and look at the documentation and have the report in front of them at the same time. Because what they really need is they need to have instructions within the report itself. Because that's exactly where they have the questions. So they look at the report and they don't know how to do things. And then they maybe realize that somewhere in the corner of the report there's a question mark, and question marks normally lead to pages that answer some questions. So let me first show you the end product, the final product of my help instructions within this report here, and then we're gonna try to we're gonna try to build some of these functionalities again from zero. So let's see. Basically, again, I'm on this overview page. We're not going to look into what this report shows and all that. So the report itself, we don't really care about much today. The topic really is about help. And I think really the question mark in the corner shows people that they can click here. And then of course we can even add a tooltip to the button. So the button also says where the user navigates to when they click here. So it says user manual. So when the user clicks here, they basically, we can see that currently no page is selected. It means they basically jumped to a hidden page called user manual. And now they're on this page, and then they have a table of content, so topics that they might be interested in and learn how to use in the report. And of course now they can just scroll down, and we have embedded images, and we have again an image, always descriptions. We sometimes also have animated GIFs. It's sometimes easier to explain a functionality in a GIF than writing a lot of text. And we keep going. We could also embed videos. Actually, I think I'll try to show you that as well, and so on. One additional functionality that I added here is anchor links. So basically, you see this little up arrow button. When we click here, I automatically jump to the top of the page, sort of like what you would expect from a website like help page. So you select your topic. For example, I want to look at cross filtering. What is cross filtering? I click on it and I get to the section cross filtering. So basically what we see here is just one visual containing all these elements. There's a lot of advantages with that. Of course, less visuals speeds up the loading process, but also you know how it is when you need to combine text and buttons and images. It takes quite a long time to set up and create bookmarks and navigation logic and all that kind of thing. So I'm going to show you how this can be done with an HTML and CSS custom visual for Power BI. So that's one thing I'm going to show you. And then also when we jump back to the main page, so again we have a button that goes back to the overview page, we can also add additional information within a visual. So for example, this visual down here, when I hover over it, I get this little question mark. And then the user again knows question mark means this is where I'm explained how the visual works. And then they hover over this question mark, and again a custom tooltip, a report page tooltip shows up containing an animated GIF showing some of the functionality that can be used in this specific visual. Okay, but how is all this set up? Let's see. So let me change to Power BI desktop, and let's start on the help page that we saw on the user manual. So what I did is I created a new page and I've hidden it because I don't want the user to just navigate to this page. I always want them to click the question mark button on the top right corner. So create a page and then just hide it from the navigation. So basically that means the page is just not shown in the service and can only be reached via a button. And then let's see. Let's just look at the final result first, and that might be a little bit overwhelming, but I promise you there's not much of the code that you'll see that you actually need to write. But still, I wanted to show you what it looks like. Basically, the entire visual contains just one measure, and that measure contains the text, the hyperlinks, the images, the GIFs, and everything. So let's just look at a couple of the elements that we have. Let's start with the table of content. Basically, this is the table of content. And we're using H1, which is an HTML statement. No need to know that. We'll do this in a way where we just simply format this in a way that everybody knows how to do it. Just bear with me for a minute. And then we create the word content, but also because content should be where the visual jumps when a user clicks on one of these arrow buttons. So when I click here, the visual should jump to content. I need to give content an ID. So basically in my hyperlink, I can then say jump to the specific ID. So I create a hyperlink and I give it the ID content. Okay. For the other links, I'll do it the other way because they are not a target. They are actually the hyperlinks from where I jump to other locations in the document. So here I don't create an ID, but I use the ahref, and then I define to which ID I want to jump. So if we look at this, so the word one filters slicers gets an ID called slicers, and then we go down here, we see that this is exactly the same thing, which means when I click up here, the visual will jump to the location down there. So I click on filter and slicers. Well, it's not going to jump far, but it's going to go down to that location. And with the arrow button, back up to top. Let me show you a couple of other elements. Then we have the first topic, which is filters and slicers, and that's defined as H2. So up here we had H1, down here we have H2. So the H statement is basically just a header, and the H1 is just the largest header with the biggest font size, and then H2 is a bit smaller, and then we have H3, 4, 5, 6. So you see that the word content is a bit bigger than the word filter down here. So it's just about formatting. Okay, and then we close the H2 tag. So whenever we start an HTML tab, we should also close it again. So the visual knows when things should be formatted differently again. So after the word buttons, we are done with our header 2. And then we just start a regular text that says the header of each page, blah blah blah, and so on. And after this we have an image. So let's just copy this so we can look at the definition of that. Let's see, H2, regular text image. So that's it. That's H2, that's regular text, and that's the image. And we're gonna create that very soon. Let me just first also show you how we added the image into the measure. So that's the measure name I copied before. And when I look in here, that's a lot of code. But of course, luckily, nobody ever had to write that. That was generated automatically. And I'll also show you how this is done. There's another element down here where we can centrally define the size of each image. And also that we'll do in a second. Okay. I think these were the most important parts of what we have in here. So you see, everything is now just repeated. We have one topic, we have the next, we have the next. So once we have the overall setup, a lot of these elements can just be copy pasted, and then we just replace the words, well, really type in the descriptions of what our instructions should say. So where do we actually do this? If you know HTML, you could create this, just type it into the DAX, the formula bar in Power BI Desktop. You can also do what you can also do, and that's my favorite way of doing it. You could use a tool like Visual Studio Code, a tool that actually knows HTML. So, the tool helps you a bit, because Power BI Desktop doesn't know any HTML, so there's no IntelliSense, there's no help in here. So here you really need to know what you're doing. Today I'm going to show you the easiest way. The easiest way is by using a website like this one, for example. So there's lots of websites sort of like this. We're currently also building our own. But that's one I actually really like. So if you just go to your search engine of choice and type in online HTML editor, this page and some others will show up. And in here, you can see we have just regular rich text formatting options. So we could start, we can say, we have our content. Let's try to create something similar than what we have in here. So we have, and let's just do this for 2 topics, because as I said, once we have it, it's a lot of copy paste. So we have the content, and then we have topic 1, topic 2, and then again we have topic 1. Here we explain topic 1, and then we continue with topic 2. Here we talk about topic 2. And now we can start with the formatting. Well, you can see over here, let me make this bigger. This is the HTML code which was automatically generated. As I mentioned before, we want the content to be bigger. That's our title, more or less. So we can go into, I think it's in edit, no it's not, it's in format, blocks, heading 1. So the biggest title, our H1. And then we also see that now that I changed this to H1, also the HTML code over here is now not P anymore, like it is for all the other rows, it's now H1. So let's do the same for topic 1, and let's focus on this P over here. That will also change to H2, and it's a bit smaller. Same thing for here, format, blocks, H2. And maybe those ones, we can make them even smaller. It's not going to look exactly the same, but this is just to show you the basics. H3 and also topic 3. Topic 2 we can format differently. H3. Of course, in here we can also add underlined, different formatting options. Let's not go too crazy. Let's keep it very simple. So this is basically what I could start with. That should already work. So if I just copy this code and go back to my Power BI, and let me just create a brand new page and create a new measure. This is our new manual, and then I just paste this in. What I need to do, because normally HTML is using double quotes, so there's a lot of double quotes in here, they need to be replaced by single quotes. And the easiest way to do this is by selecting one of them, and then you press Ctrl-Shift-L, which just looks for the same element in the entire DAX code, and then it just replaces it with whatever you want. In our case, a single quote. Then we just need to add double quote in the beginning and in the end, and that should already display exactly the text we just created. So let me add the HTML text styler visual. The visual is, well, maybe a few words about the visuals. There's two custom visuals I have in here. One is the HTML text styler, the other one is the HTML and CSS viewer. Both of them work perfectly fine for what I'm going to show now. Later on, I'm going to add a video which is from an online source, so it's basically from a website. For those cases, we cannot use Microsoft certified visuals. Microsoft certified visuals, like the HTML text styler, cannot access external sources. So they cannot stream a video from the web into Power BI. The HTML CSS viewer, on the other hand, which is not Microsoft certified, has access to external sources. So for now, we'll use the text styler. Later on, we'll switch to the other one. What did I call my measure? New manual. And let's see. That's exactly, let me turn off the tooltip. That's exactly what we have actually defined. But of course, there's a lot of stuff missing. So let's do the anchor links first. Anchor links are the links within this document. So the ones jumping from one element to another inside the same visual. And luckily also these we can create in here. So we want that when I click here, the visual jumps to topic 1. So we need to give topic 1 an ID. And we can go to insert anchor, an ID, and let's just call it topic 1. And again, let's look at the code. So basically here, that's the line we're currently changing. We will add this anchor. So now we have defined that this is here. This is where we define that the word topic has an ID called topic 1. But of course, we also need to define that when I click here, I actually want to jump to this anchor ID. So in here, I can say insert hyperlink. I could jump to a URL, or I could jump to, well, I guess URLs, that's it, or anchors. And now my anchor 1 already shows up here, and that will already work. So now we can look at this and see, okay, now this word topic 1 is actually an ahref hyperlink jumping to the topic 1 anchor. So let's do the same thing for topic 2. We want to insert an anchor. This one is called topic 2. and from here we want to jump to topic to anchor. And let's just see if this works. So let's go in here, let's just replace the entire code with that. We need to replace the double quotes with single quotes again. And of course, because this is not DAX, this is HTML, we need to add double quotes in the beginning and in the end. And now when I jump to, it doesn't make sense now because the visual just is too, that's better. So now it makes sense. I jump to topic 1 and 2. Of course, if I'm already here and I can see it, the visual just simply doesn't jump to that location. But that seems to work. Okay, let's look at how to add images into our help page. So first of all, let's just create an image. Let's say we want to show the users how to use the filters. So this is what I would do. There's a lot of different screenshot tools. I'm just a big fan of Screenpresso. I've used it for many years and I really like it. There's a free version, there's also a paid version. I've signed up for the paid version, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago, and it was a one-time fee, which is very nice. I don't know if they still do that, but I'm gonna stick to it because now I have full functionality and I don't need to pay a monthly license. So Screenpresso it's called, and let's just create a screenshot. Of course, you can also use, what is it called, the snipping tool, which I think comes with Windows pre-installed. I'm not even sure. So I have my screenshot, and then also I want users to focus on the element that this specific topic is talking about. So I would blur out all the things they don't really need to see. And also it's a bit weird if you have actual data in your help. People might focus on the data and the values, and if you blur it out, people will just really focus on what you want to show them. And what you want to show them in this case is how to use filters in the report. There's couple of other elements, you know, if we would explain several things, we could add like different buttons and stuff. So there's a lot of functionality in here, but again, I mean, I don't want to present this tool. How do I select this one? Okay, so that's my screenshot. What I need to do now, as you saw in the beginning, pictures had this very, very long code. So I need to transfer or translate or migrate or whatever you want to call it, this picture, this PNG into a measure. And actually we have created a website just for this, which is on kteam.ch/converter, and here I can convert pictures and GIFs and videos to measures. So let me just upload this picture. That's the one. Give it a name, give the measure a name. I want to call it image that's the filter. And this is the code that's generated. And I copy this code. And because this website was built specifically to do this, there's now no need to worry about double quotes and single quotes. You see, everything I pasted already has the correct quotations. Perfect. Press enter. That should be my image. So let's see what it looks like. Let me go to my new page 1, add the HTML text styler again, because this is now not loaded from a web source. We could also load the image from the internet, but because this is now part of the data model, it works with the certified visual as well. So what did I call it? Image filter. Perfect. So that's the image I want to add to, let's just say, topic 1. So again, I can just go in here into the measure, and maybe all these spaces in between we don't really want. So we said for topic 1 I want to add the image, and the image is a measure, which means the image needs to be added in DAX, which also means we need to stop editing HTML, switch to DAX and back to HTML. So the way I do it, and I think that's the easiest way, just do 2 double quotes, 2 %, and in between goes the DAX code. So the image filter, and then we press enter, and then this should show up exactly below the topic, well, as part of topic 1. So we have topic 1 in the content, and when I jump down, this is topic 1, including some text and including my image. This one I can delete, and of course we can resize everything, make it nice. Maybe now my image is a bit too big. So what we can do is we can just go back into the image measure, and down here we could say it shouldn't use the entire size of the visual, but only, let's say, half, so only 50%. That's much better. The thing is though, if I have a very long page with 5, 6, 7 images, I might want to have one central setting where I can reduce the size of my images. So what I would do is create a measure, call it image size, and it's just 50. That's my measure. I already have that, so this is image size new, I don't know. And then back in my image, I could go down here and say, you are not hard-coded 50, but you are the number that I typed into this measure. And again, I switch between HTML and DAX, so double quotes, ampersand, and then it's this image size new measure, which means that if I have all these images in there, I can just go in here and I change this to 75, and then the size of the image will also change and become bigger. One thing I want to note is when you create a mobile view, and I think it makes sense to also have end user help on a mobile view. Let's just quickly look at this, which settings we can use in there. So if we go to the mobile layout, and I just drag this visual on here, because maybe for mobile this, what is it, 75% now is a bit too small, or maybe sometimes it could be too big. So in here I actually have a specific setting called content formatting, where I can just scale up or down everything in the visual. If I want to make things bigger, put it to a bigger scaling. If I want to make things smaller, I just reduce the size. So this is how we can really deal with mobile views and make the perfect mobile layout. So it's not the topic of today, so I'm gonna just skip that, but I wanted to show this quickly. What else do we have? Okay, let me show you how to add an animated GIF. So let's just go to, I don't know, any of these pages here. Okay, so for example in here we have rolling months. Not everybody might know how this slicer here works. So why not just add a GIF into the manual? When I would record a GIF or also images and screenshots, I normally do this from the Power BI service, because I don't want to have, you know, that border and all that shown. I want my image to display how the users actually see it. So I think I have this report published. We were on page balance sheet. So let's go to page balance sheet. And then I use the same tool. I still use Screen Presso, and I can say I want to record a video of this part of the screen. And then I just start recording, and I change the slicer. Maybe I also show that they could just type in a number, and that's it. So now I have this file, and I can define, should this be saved as a GIF or as an MP4 video. I want to have a GIF. In the meantime, we can already go to the converter page again, because it also works for GIFs. Upload the file, call it GIF rolling month, copy the code, go back to Power BI desktop, create a new measure, paste it in, replace this with the measure we have created, so everything has the same size. Image size new, I think, image size new, good. Okay, so now this can be added to our help page as well. If we go back to the help page, let's say that would be topic 2. So topic 2 would be about how to use this slicer. Go into the manual, and in here we can say add the GIF for the rolling month. Let's see if our anchor link works. We want to go down to topic 2, and topic 2 nicely shows the GIF that was just recorded. So I think that should be, oh, we wanted to add a video as well, because I actually think that videos are a great tool to add into end user help. So how do we do this? I already have a video, and I have a video which is stored in an Azure Blob Storage. So in my Azure Storage Explorer, I can navigate to this file. And basically what I need is, of course, I need the URL of the video. Videos are simply too big. You see this video is 134 megabytes. They're too big to turn into measures. So videos, unless you have a very short video, but videos you normally want to load from an external source. And Azure Blob is just the source I'm using in this specific case. So I need to get the URL of the video. That's one thing. So I copy that. But then I also need to know, how do I now use this URL? How do I do this? And maybe I don't know, right? So again, I just want to show a source of where to learn how this can be done. So on the kteam.ch website, in the Power BI visuals, there is the knowledge base. And in here, we can search for video, and then there is one knowledge base article that says add videos. And that sounds about right. So there's only a short explanation, because most of these articles, the magic happens in the sample report. So it's always a good idea to download the sample report and look at the DAX measures in the sample report. And that's actually what I'm going to do. So I'm downloading this knowledge base article PBIX, open it up. In the meantime, we can see that actually in here we have an embedded video within a report. And that's exactly what we want to do. We simply don't know how to write the code. But hopefully we learn by looking at this article here. So that's the video. So all I need to do is go and look at the code that's used in here. So there is an HTML video tag. That's what we start with. Then again, you probably recognize this. this is the size of the video, always compared to the size of the visual. Controls means that we actually want to activate the control button, so the user can press play. And then we define the source, and in this case it's also from a Azure Blob Storage. And then we also need to define that this is actually a video type MP4. So if I copy this, let me copy the entire measure. Go back here, create a new measure, paste it in and call it video. I don't have a video yet. Now the only thing we need to do is replace the URL. It actually might be the same URL that I'm using. So I've copied this before, didn't I? I thought I did. Okay, let's just copy this again. Copy URL and paste it in here. Pretty sure it's the same. Yeah. So anyway, now I have my video and I could add it again to my help page, to any other page, to anywhere in the report. But for here, let's just do this, and we say that after the GIF, we also want to add the video. Let's see what this looks like. If I scroll down, now I have the video. Probably a bit too big, but you know, it's the same thing also with the video. As I said, also in here we could say the video should be smaller, and then it becomes smaller. So okay, this is how we can create a nice looking, fully interactive help page with anchor links, with GIFs, with images, with videos, all that kind of thing. There's only one more thing I wanted to show, and I think that could also be quite helpful. It's how to add these little question marks to the visual. So basically what they are, I think they're called visual header tooltips. So what we need to do, let's do the same for the balance sheet that we had before. So I want to have this question mark for this visual right here. So first of all, we can go into the visual settings and go into header icons. Go to the icons, scroll all the way down. You cannot really see this. Let me just change that. Scroll all the way down and activate the help tooltip. Now we have the question mark. So we could just write some text and then this text would show up. But what we can also do is we can create a tooltip page. So this would be my balance sheet help, and I always start with TT so I know this is actually a tooltip page. So we need to define this as a tooltip page. We need to add the visual. One thing I forgot to mention before, let me just go back, because in here the video actually doesn't play, because as I mentioned before, the HTML text styler, Microsoft certified visual, cannot access any external sources. So here I need to change to the HTML CSS viewer, and now the video plays perfectly fine. Good. Back to our tooltip page. In here it doesn't matter which visual, because I have the GIF in a measure. So we want the GIF rolling forecast. That's really what we want. This is what our end users should see. Let's not spend too much time, it doesn't really matter about the size. So I would normally, what I do, I would first create define the size of the visual, and then we can see that's the size of the report page, or the report page should be the same size. So I normally copy one number and try to remember the other one. Not sure this is going to work today when I talk at the same time. Let's see. This should be custom. See, I already forgot. 3, 2, 1. Wasn't it? And then also we want to say actual size. Yeah, it wasn't 3, 2. It doesn't matter. Let's just say we are happy with this. I would probably also add a border so the tooltip sticks out a little bit more. Actually, I'm not happy with that. 3, 3, 2. 3, 3, 2. And then we can add a border to the visual. Visual border is on. And we go back to the balance sheet page. Where is it? The balance sheet. And in the visual header icons, we say the help tooltip is not text but is a report page, and it is our newly created TT balance sheet. And when I click or when I hover over this question mark, I now see, okay, so I can use this slicer to change the number of rolling months. Of course, here we could also add descriptions and all sorts of elements. Yeah, I think it's quite helpful to really guide the users through the report and integrate help into the report, because that's exactly where users are looking to get help from you, the report developer. And if you do it the same sort of way in every report, they will start to know that this question mark in the corner will get them the help they need. You could also add, of course, I didn't do this in this case, but actually I think it's a good idea, hyperlink to your, to the email of the support team maybe. So in case something doesn't work out, they could simply click a button and send an email to you or whoever is in charge of the report. Great, I think that's what I wanted to show today. I hope that this was useful and that you might want to do this also in your report. If something is not clear, I'm always very happy to help. So simply just reach out or leave a comment in the video, and we'll get back to you with solutions or replies. So thank you very much for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video. Thank you very much.